Vision, tenacity, and perseverance are three words that remain constant in his life's journey. From a little boy in Swalaba to a human rights activist determined to achieve the best for his country.
I remember in President Kufuor's office one day, and the television was on, and the foreign minister came on, was talking. I don't remember what about, but I remember President Kufuor smiling and saying, "That's my foreign minister."
'98, he had contested me for the candidacy of the party to be for the 2000 election. Of course, I won, but our party is democratic, and we operated under constitutions of contests. So when we won, and knowing the background from which he was coming, I thought he would fit the role of the Attorney Generalship. And I didn't have any qualms at all inviting him to come and serve as Attorney General.
I thought Attorney General was more his line, but it was as Foreign Minister, I think, that he really blossomed.
Many people think that the trial of Charles Taylor in The Hague, important though it is in being able to insulate the process in Liberia, would perhaps been better staged on the continent itself. And in future, we hope that we can develop institutions ourselves that would enable free, fair, effective trials.
Foreign Minister, I traveled the length and breadth of much of the world with him. So we got talking a lot during the many travels we had. I always felt quite at home with him. And I think my trust or confidence in him was because of this very long background I had with the many members of his great family.
From his political activism in his youthful days in the late 1970s as General Secretary of the People's Movement for Freedom and Justice, or PMFJ, which insisted on a democratic Ghana, through the establishment of his law firm, to his human rights activism days defending the politically oppressed, Nana Akufo-Addo has shown to be a tenacious servant leader and a family man.
I can say boldly that among his generations, he was one of the best. We did a case in the court, and the late Nelson Kofi sent him a written recommendation, and he said he's the chief of the old bloc. It shows how that generation respected him.
First Radio Eye, now on lawyer to Radio Eye, di womu. Da wakochi Radio I mena mi ko ni fi ko friend na one friend na obepupu ni tida.
He actually got cases from the legal aid office for lawyers to do, and he did a lot of free cases for people who walk into his office and he thought that he had a good case. You call a lawyer in the office and assign you to do it. So that's one strength of him.
But his tenacity will even become more profound in the Fourth Republic.
Most of the people on this march, 90% of them don't have jobs. As far as we're concerned, that's the issue. Jobs and bread for the people of Ghana. And we think it is time that the government began to fashion policies that address the needs of the people of this country. And that's what we want to do. And we're doing so by a very successful, peaceful demonstration that shows the best of the Ghanaian character. That's why we're here today.
Against many odds and amidst intimidation and opposition from the then government, Akufo-Addo led what is arguably the biggest protest marches in the history of our country. The Kumipreko demonstration in 1995 at the height of the might of the Rawlings administration.
The policies that the government has been implementing are policies that do not find favor with the general mass of our people, and that the mass of the people of this country have been systematically impoverished.
At the time when the Kumipreko and what have you was going on, anytime I was invited to maybe a reception and he sees me there, he will come to me and ask me, "Ohima, I want to sing." It's not everybody who does that. And I would answer sometimes as rudely as I can, sometimes as politely as I could. But I'm like, because there are two different situations, okay? He's a gentleman. So whatever is happening in the political arena has nothing to do with how he relates.
Despite being a son of Ghana's president of the Second Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo did not ride on his father's glory. He was bent on creating his own path.
The coup d'etat was all very traumatic. Suddenly your father is president, and the next thing, he's been, that's it. All those things coupled with his background, I think must have gelled up to say, I must be part of making things the way, all the arguments we have, all the discussions we have, if I should be part of the solution and not constantly be part of just the argument. My uncle was, I think, either the secretary or something to the Nkrumah's Association. And so he had his papers there and I was just going through it. But Nana-Addo was a member of that team. So he's flexible, depending on where he wants to be. He was a member of the Nkrumah's team, okay? But his dad was UP, yeah? So I guess you can only judge him for what he does and who he is at any point of time.
Aside politics, Nana Akufo-Addo has gone through some personal family pain, losing his first wife in July 1993.
It affected him and the rest of us tremendously, because she was a very lovely woman, very, very bright, very intelligent, and yes, her loss was very sad for all of us, and for him, of course, especially.
For 4 years, Nana Akufo-Addo remained single until 1997, when he tied the knot with his beautiful Rebecca, ushering in an amazing love life.
Well, we met many years ago. I think it was in the late 70s. And we went out briefly. In fact, I think at the time his father was president. Yes, and we went out briefly and went our separate ways after that. And then sometime in 1996, it must be, we met up again. And we went out a few times and decided that we shall get married, and that's how it happened.
Nana Akufo-Addo has kept a united family with his wife and beautiful daughters, a father's pride.
One of the things as well that Daddy loves to do with his daughters is go for a good walk. You know what I mean? And then he'll tell you about, the areas where he used to be his stomping ground and things like that. My father can make you feel so important in that one moment that he shares with you. And that one moment can last you for 10 years.
He does try. He loves his family and he cares very much for his family. And so he's always there for us. But as the whole world knows, he's a politician and he's always out there doing his politics. So a lot of the time he's been away and you know, getting on with politics. But he is a family man. His family comes first.
You know, I feel that my father is a whole entity, but one goes with the other. You know, that even as a father, you know, he uses his diplomacy as a politician with his daughters. You know what I mean? It's not easy to have 5 girls that you have to wrangle, and everyone has different personalities, you know? So I don't know. And also I've grown up with we've grown up with the politician who is a father.
Mostly on Sundays, the whole family comes around for lunch. So the grandchildren come, and they're with him. They go into his study to begin with, whilst he's working, and they're all over the place in his study, asking questions and so on. And he's very fond of them. He talks to them and listens to them as well. He's very, very family oriented, and he loves his grandchildren.
Yes, I was new in active politics in 2008. I was selected in August of 2008, and the election was in December, so I had a very short period, you know, in terms of campaigning. But of course, the president was an experienced campaigner. He had been in the game for quite a long time, and he gave me advice on how to proceed, which I took. And it was a very hectic campaign.
We worked very hard during 2008. As far as I'm concerned, 2008, we shouldn't have lost. But whatever be the case, we were declared the losers.
Unfortunately, we won the first round, but we didn't get a requisite 23,000 additional votes to get 50% plus 1. We were, I think, at 49.8% or so. But we learned from that experience.
Despite the 2008 defeat, Nana Akufo-Addo did not give up. He launched a strong campaign in the lead-up to the 2012 general elections. Nana Akufo-Addo lost the election to President John Mahama, but chose the constitutionally prescribed procedure to challenge the result at the Supreme Court.
Throughout the court press process, we proved, in fact, that we did win the election. Unfortunately, we didn't get, but to us, we were very confident that we had proven the case. Unfortunately, we didn't get the verdict.
We might not have been given the ruling we sought, but thanks to our efforts, we can hopefully look forward to an improved electoral process in our country.
2012, after the Supreme Court verdict, and after he gave that historic statement and speech after the elections, you know, the dust has settled down. As you know, when the elections are over and the results are declared, you normally will not find too many people come around again. And I was there with him, a couple of political actors, and he immediately began talking about when will be the next internal elections, as in polling station, electoral area, regional, national election, national executive elections. And John Bodu, I remember, Mr. John Bodu was there, was also part of that, and he began asking him questions that what is going to happen next, what is going to take place, and that was always the attitude.
Every time the losses have been difficult, or were difficult, but he always moves straight on. He doesn't, I know the very first time in 2008, after we lost, came home and I was so sad and everything, and you know, almost in tears, and he just said, look, snap out of it, you know, just let's move on. And that's how he is. He doesn't cry over spilt milk.
I remember as well, actually, Jefferson, when he lost in 2008, and me and my younger sister, we stayed up for him. Everyone had gone to sleep. It was very late. I think it was like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. And my younger sister and I waited up for him. You know, we didn't know why. We just wanted to make sure our father was okay. You know, we were angry. You know, we were, how could they do this? And what have they done? And, you know, and ready to, you know, sit down and talk to our dad and, you know, build him back up. And, you know, and he came home and he said that he was sad, and he said that he just feels that he's let the Ghanaian people down. It wasn't that he felt that he should have been in power, or that it would have been better, you know? It was just that he felt that he let the Ghanaian people down. And what it did is that it educated my sister and I a little bit more in being patriotic.
Nana Akufo-Addo's fortitude and clarity and basically what he was giving me in particular, that look, we can do it. Let's just go and work hard. The next election, we will be able to make it. And I believe that, and we worked very, very hard, and we got to make it.
Every mother and father all hope that education will help their children escape poverty and give them access to a good life. Every child, rich or poor, able-bodied or disabled, deserves a good education. Free secondary education is at the heart of the MPP program.
His 2016 comeback was even stronger, winning overwhelmingly at the presidential election, and for the first time in the history of our country, not only did he defeat an incumbent president, but he did so with a whopping 1 million vote margin.
The only way we can guarantee the future of Ghana is to bring in the MPP to rebuild our country. That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. So help me God.
For many Ghanaians, this victory in 2016 came with a renewed hope. The new Patriotic Party had also won majority in Parliament.
It will not be easy. We have no illusions whatsoever. It will require sacrifice, but it can be done.
I remember Nana Akufo-Addo teasing me that I wasn't smiling as much after the swearing in. You know, before the swearing in was a lot of euphoria and all of that, and then after the swearing in, I had to focus on what we needed to deliver.
One day, I went to Nima to see him at the office before we go for a meeting in Ringway. And I entered the office, and he looked at me and said, "Oh, the first woman, female chief of staff." What? It's never happened before. And I never thought of it. But I believe strongly that the role that he has given me is a strong commitment to the advancement of women.
Sometimes when I see his passion for Ghana and doing things right for Ghana, I believe that it came from that early start. He's been very clear in wanting to put Ghana where he wants it to be all these years. So I see that, I mean, you see that throughout his political life, fighting for the right things, democracy, and all of that.
As president, Nana Akufo-Addo hit the ground running from day one. The implementation of his major campaign promise, the free senior high school policy, could not even wait for a year. By September 2017, the first batch of this revolutionary policy were in school. Today, enrollment rate at the SHS is over 90%, and the number of students in SHS across the country has more than doubled from 830,000 in 2016 to over 1.4 million, one of the highest enrollment rates in the world, with over 5 million children benefiting since its inception. While delivering on this flagship program, President Akufo-Addo was also delivering on other promises such as the One District, One Factory initiative, the Planting for Food and Jobs, robust infrastructure, and at the same time, turning the fortunes of the economy around. Ghana became one of the fastest growing economies, with GDP growth increasing from 3.4% in 2016 to an average of 7% between 2017 and 2019. Inflation hit its lowest level since the beginning of the Fourth Republic in January 2020 at 7.8%. Fiscal deficit was kept below 5% for 3 consecutive years, and the annual average depreciation of the cedi was at its lowest for any government in its first term.
The Ministry of Health has announced that 2 cases of COVID-19.
Ghana is investigating 2.
Fellow Ghanaians, good evening.
I happened to travel once when COVID was quite mitigated when the waves started coming down. And everywhere you go, they ask the question, were you having foreign consultants in your country? Because apparently Ghana had come up as one of the low to middle income countries that were very systematic in our approach. And when you talk to partners, I was in Geneva, they were shocked that all was in-house. It was Dr. Nsiansari, Kuma Buaji, Asamoah Ban, with the COVID task force team, all of us. And they were like, wow, that is serious, you know. And the president was not only addressing Ghanaians. Apparently, the videos were being played in other countries in the West Africa sub-region. You know, so I sat down and went like, look, this is one of, although COVID was a dark hour for the world, it had some brightness for us. And so I was like, the best way to let the world know and remember what happened is to document our story.
When he speaks, you feel it from his gut about his love for the country. Every time he came out, you saw him in his mask and you say, everybody wear your mask. He didn't say, wear your mask and I'll take mine off. No. He was showing by an example what we should do. Just taking that singular thing that happened to all of us in this world. If he didn't care about the country, I don't think he would have gone the extra mile.
Education is dear to his heart. Should we just let it go? No. We have to spend extra, but to make sure that the children are protected and yet be able to receive quality education. It costs a lot, but today we are beneficiaries of that courageous, forward-looking, sensitive, compassionate leader.
His leadership made the difference. And, you know, Ghana is adjudged to be one of the best countries in the world in the management of COVID. And I think it's thanks to his leadership. We didn't suffer as much in the area of deaths as many other countries.
At age 80, President Akufo-Addo is ending his second term in a few months, yet prosecuting some of the boldest transformative and ambitious policies our country has ever witnessed. It's been 80 years of God's glory.
80 years is a long time, eh? It's a long time to have been on this earth. We've been on this earth for a long time. And you and I, we didn't think we would live to 80. I know this because we'd said it many times. But here you are at 80, strong, healthy. We thank God for your life.
Like as I sit here, I'm 85, and every morning I wake up, I thank God profusely for allowing me to see another day. So Akufo-Addo now is coming to join us, the truly senior class of humans. And I wish him very well. He looks very fit, so mobile, and so energetic in his ways. And with a touch of luck, I'm sure you cross the 80 mark and then even live many, many years more.
We are very, very happy to have you as our president. I am happy to have you as a boss. I learn every day from you. And I do hope that this 80-year celebration will not be just a one-day affair. I think we should celebrate you in many, many ways throughout the whole year.
I wish him good health, a happy birthday, but most importantly, I pray that his vision of what he wanted to do, if not everything, that he has been able to achieve 80%, 90% of what he wants to do. Of course, other things came in to kind of block the straight, the running of governance. However, when the chips are down, he should turn the cards and say, yes, I made it. I was able to make it. I think for me that would be an important thing for us and also for him as a president of the country.
My wishes for him obviously are that he ends his period as president successfully, and also for him to realize that he's done a lot for this country in his period as president, and I'm sure he will be remembered for a lot of the things that he has done, and I wish him a peaceful retirement.
I love you. I'm proud of you. Thank you for being proud of me. Thank you for my amazing sisters, you know, because the family that we have is unbreakable. You know, we have such a bond, you know, that and my father is the epicenter of that, and my mother is the epicenter of that. Thank you for showing me a beautiful marriage that you have with my mother. There's no one can be able to see the tenderness that's between that couple. You know, I could go on and on.
I wish him the very best of good health and happiness and many more years, and to say thank you to him for being a good husband, for being there for me, and a good father to our children. May God bless him.
I think he has left such an incredible legacy for Ghana. I mean, we may not see it clearly now, but his leadership has really begun a major transformation in this country. Of course, a lot of people will remember him for free senior high school education. Really landmark. You have about 5.7 million children who have benefited from free SHS, and performance has gone up. Free TVET education and the investment in TVET, in skills, major. You know, you've seen ambulance service resuscitated, you know, the industrialization program, one district, one factory, all these factories, about 54% of the districts have been covered with factories right now. Then you see the digitalization program that he allowed me to champion in government has allowed a major transformation. The Ghana card, which President Kufuor started, finally the issuance was done under President Akufo-Addo, which is a major legacy that we have. Ghana now has an address system, financial inclusion in Ghana now. We have #1 in Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion. This is in our term. After 60 years of independence, we were nowhere, but now we are #1 in Africa. I wish him much longer life to contribute even after his term.